What's up, guys? Today I feel like being a bully. Who wants to go bully, debunk some small channels with me? Let's do it. I picked the smallest channel I could find. Yes, perfect.
Why are atheists wrong?
Well, I got a few things to point out already. First of all, your title... it's not really agreeing with you. I think you should spend just a few more seconds thinking about post-production stuff. I don't know, just make sure your title is all good and sound. Okay, maybe you did this intentionally. Who knows, you might mention something later. For now, let's just move on to my second point. Wait a minute, this isn't your video. You stole this video from another channel. I was actually wondering how a channel with 0 subscribers was able to pump out so many high production value videos so quickly. Dude, come on, don't copy other people's videos. That's just not cool, man. Now, on to my second point. Why are atheists wrong? That was your question. Well, I must say that this is an invalid question. What a surprise! Atheists don't make a claim. All we are doing is dismissing your hypothesis because you don't have enough evidence. We're not saying that there is no God. We're not saying that your God definitely 100% doesn't exist. We're just staying at the default position because there is no evidence of a God. Since we don't make a claim, we can't technically be wrong. It's as simple as that.
An atheist is someone who does not believe in God.
Well, I'll give you credit for saying not believe in God rather than believe there is no God. Bravo. Don't disappoint me.
For them, there are only material objects in this world, and everything can be explained in a materialistic way.
Nope, that's wrong. You see, that would be making a claim now, wouldn't it? There are certain people who do believe that everything is entirely materialistic. I won't deny that. But that's a tiny fraction of people. The vast majority of atheists don't make a claim. They dismiss the claim of a God. They also dismiss the claim that everything is materialistic. You see, all we are doing is not believing in any hypotheses that isn't supported by evidence. There is no evidence of materialism. Therefore, we reject that claim too. You starting to see what I'm saying here? The word atheism can be very misleading sometimes to people who don't understand the word. In reality, we are skeptics. We don't accept anything that isn't rigorously proven, and we use this mindset for everything. It just so happens that we also fall into the category of atheism because we apply the same skepticism to religion. We are also A, leprechauns and A, unicorns. We don't say they definitely don't exist, but we don't believe they do until we are convinced by evidence. And it's the same for you, right? You don't believe in leprechauns, so in a lot of ways, you are similar to skeptics. You reject all these mythical creatures the same way we do. The only difference is that you don't apply the same reasoning when it comes to your God. Think about that.
Now, is that really true? Let's take a look.
Yeah, go ahead and debunk materialism, not atheism.
Let's look at a simple question. Why does someone walk? A materialistic answer could be because his muscles contract.
No, I don't think anyone's going to answer it that way. Saying our muscles contract would be answering the question, how does someone walk? No one's going to say muscle contraction when you ask them why we walk. They would say something along the lines of, because that person wants to go somewhere.
Is it the only right answer? Couldn't you also answer the question, why does someone walk, by saying, because he wants to buy a magazine?
What? What the fuck?
Of course. And the atheist would say, yes, but buying a magazine is a result of a biochemical process that, if you really went to the bottom of things, gives the buyer an advantage in the struggle for survival. And that is why he did it.
Yeah, I don't fucking think any atheist would say that.
Okay, maybe that's true.
You agree with that? Wow, okay, so you admit it's true. Okay, show's over. Bye, people.
But couldn't you then ask, what is the ultimate purpose of man's existence?
How did chemicals in the brain that helps our ancestors survive somehow turn into the purpose of man? You're just jumping around here.
An existence, mind you, he seems to have to fight for constantly.
Ah, I see why you brought that up. Well, just because we are fighting for the survival of our species doesn't mean there's any purpose to it. Life doesn't have an objective purpose. It just adapts in any way possible to reproduce and pass on genes. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry if it hurts your real feelings, but it's not false just because you don't want it to be true.
The atheist would reply to that, but there is no reason. Life does not have a higher purpose. Leave off all this religious stuff. There is no God.
Look at me, I'm the narrator making up all these straw men.
In our scientific investigations, we've actually never come across God. And if we can explain reality without God, then God is a hypothesis that we don't need. He is superfluous.
Your straw man there actually made a bit of sense. Science has not shown there's a God, and science is our best method in finding the truth to the universe. If there's no indication of a supernatural entity, we dismiss the claim. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Bam! This is exactly where the atheists go wrong.
Well, we're fucked, guys. This guy's about to drop some logic bombs on us.
But the problem is not where most people might expect. The problem is not that we would indeed need God in order to understand the natural universe and questions such as how life began.
Tell that to William Lane Craig.
While some of those questions cannot be answered without God, this is not where the problem lies. The problem is more fundamental. It is how atheists understand God. Their notion of God is completely false.
I don't think that's true. You know, a lot of atheists used to be religious, right? So what, they had a false notion of God during that time as well? I'm sure we understand God quite well, but I'll give you a chance.
And, by the way, they share this false notion with many Christians.
Well, I guess that explains some things, but why is it up to you to determine the true nature of God? So other Christians that disagree with you are just wrong? You can't be the wrong one here? What arrogance, man.
Atheists think of God as a powerful being. So, what's wrong with that? It doesn't sound so bad.
So you're making the strawman atheist who thinks that God is a powerful being, and then you're going to debunk this. I am actually fucking curious on what you're going to say.
Well, the problem with this notion of God is this. Even the highest being is still only a being. One being among many other beings. It's still just a part of the world.
When people say the word being, I highly doubt that it carries an implication that this being is part of this world. You know that word doesn't make such a connotation, right? This is some insane twisted logic you've got there.
And now, if I never actually come across this really sophisticated being in my scientific study of the world, then it seems fair to argue that such a being probably doesn't exist.
I'm glad you're catching on, but it doesn't matter whether or not this being is in our physical universe or not. Even if he's outside the universe, we would still need evidence in order to accept the hypothesis. How about this? You know, what if there's a pink dragon that resides outside our universe and outside time? That's right, you can't see it or detect it in any way. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, why not? Isn't this the same logic you're using to argue for your God?
But this notion of God as the highest being is false. God is not the highest being. He is not one being among many beings.
Yep, I know, except atheists aren't exactly claiming that.
He is not part of the world. God is the cause of all things, and not just one of them.
Where is the evidence? I'm so tired of asking you Christians to do this. Where's the evidence? The burden of proof is on you. You seem to always come up with these explanations to the arguments we present to you, but never actually give any evidence for your claims. And I know why. It's because you have no evidence. Give me a break. You can claim all you want about God being the cause of all things, also failing to define simple terminologies such as cause, by the way, but we will never accept it as true until you provide testable, observable, and falsifiable premises. That's how science works, and that's how science will work in the future.
When science investigates, it can only investigate things that are a part of the world, and that is the reason why scientists never come across God.
Like I said, sure, you made an explanation on how we haven't detected God, but that doesn't prove anything. It's only a claim.
Therefore, when atheists say there is no God, you may actually be inclined to agree with them.
Except that we don't claim there's no God. Didn't I just praise you earlier in the video for not saying we think there is no God?
Because the kind of God they have in mind is indeed not very likely to exist. The key problem of materialism and modern atheism is, therefore, their notion of God. They think of God as a part of the world, and that's where they go totally wrong.
Well, there's no other new arguments in this video. That was kinda disappointing, to be honest. I was expecting more. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and until next time.